of relationship dynamics. And we have friends today. And to my right,
I'm Adriana.
welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
Round
me.
of applause, round of applause.
Oh, no. Easy. I just want to say thank you so much for, and I'll be honest, when it comes to like doing like videos, it's so hard getting women on because I always like have conversations. And it was so interesting how you were like, oh, I want to do this. I want to hop on. And I'm just curious, why did you want to hop on the show?
It was I wish I had saved the Instagram video I'd recently seen prior to like seeing that you guys did relationship dynamic videos.
Yeah.
Because they were just something where I was like, if I was on this podcast, I would have this to say.
Yeah.
And then I hit up Tay, who's on here.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you think I'd be in your podcast? Kind of like in a joking way, because obviously, like, why would you let a random person do it? And he's like, no, actually hit Rob. And so I was like, okay. And obviously we had our conversation and you were very down. And I was like, okay, well, we're doing this then. Like, if it wasn't serious before, we're seriously doing it now.
No, 1,010%.
Yeah.
And let's just say, you know, we definitely are looking for people to be on here, obviously, but also, you know, Tay said you was cool people, and you know, once he gave me the green check mark, I said, hey,
what else?
So shout out Tay.
Hey, you know, he's a great citizen from time to time.
That's a great citizen. It's funny. Oh gosh.
So I think we got to get into it. So as y'all already know, we have a segment here called "Is That Valid or That Ain't It?" And you know, it's actually sitting better with me after like some time apart from it.
Yeah.
Now I got something for y'all, and it'll be on the screen.
Okay.
Be on the screen because I'm curious what y'all think about this. Now let me pull this up. Wait, whoa, that's YouTube. I'll cut that out. One second. My gallery. There's that. All right. I want to ask y'all both. Is this valid or that ain't it? So I'm gonna start to the left and go to the right. Okay. So is this valid or this ain't it? Or
God.
that ain't it?
Oh God. I knew that.
No.
is that?
It's my hand. Oh my God.
What's
that? What's
it's
that?
A tat. Oh my goodness. It's a tat.
Context?
Well, long story short, I spent supposed to have been an 8-day trip to Portugal and Spain, but 8 days turned into 3 weeks. so while I was there, I got not only say caught up, but I got involved in the culture and everything. And I got the word. There's a word, saudade. It's a Portuguese word, and it just means. Matter of fact, I had to pull it up because then I feel like I need to pull up the actual definition and the meaning. Because if I explain it right now, it's not gonna do it justice.
No.
So it is. Let me explain the meaning. The meaning is. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds.
How did I know he would already have this?
I have it saved. So it means. It is the memory that you lived something wonderful. It's missing somebody special. It's an unforgettable trip. It's the vibration of love felt in your body through imagination. It is what is marked forever in your soul. It's a word that can't be translated. You can only feel it. So that's like a whole like Portuguese thing. So when I was there, I was like, you know, I feel that. So let me just commemorate the moment and get it tatted on me in my hand. And I have like this little second skin on there to save it for the next few days. But
man, it's
yeah,
like
that's a vibe. That's a vibe.
It's like I planned this.
No, that's so nice.
Oh gosh, actually, because you mentioned it earlier, but I just forgot about it. I didn't even think about it. But yeah, that's what happened. So I guess it's valid in my opinion. But
I think it's
everyone
I
is
think that's very
entitled
valid.
to their own opinion. Yeah,
No, for sure.
That's hilarious.
Oh, my video is so stupid.
No. It's about having fun.
Oh gosh.
Because I think one thing that doesn't get spoken about a lot. One, the meaning of that is super dope.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my original screenshot of it, so I was like, I gotta make a fresh one. So I'm glad you reposted that because I was looking for that.
Gracias.
Is like you left to like do solo traveling, and I don't think people understand the importance of like self-traveling or just traveling in general, like, and how that translates to like a relationship and how that's important to like see different stuff and like, all right, if I don't do this, you know, with my partner, I'm gonna do this by myself. So I appreciate, you know, his journey with that.
It was a journey. Like I said, it started out being supposed to be an 8-day trip. I ended up being 3. And I don't know if we have enough time to even just get into it. But honestly, long story short.
We'll piece it out.
Yeah, exactly. It was probably the best. I think I was just talking to a friend about that today. It was probably hands down the best like trip. Either one of the best life experiences in general, like over the last, I mean, I'm 30 years old now, but honestly, best like life experience I've had. And it was weird because I was in the moment, like thinking like, yes, like this is one of those moments that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. So let me just enjoy it and everything. So hands down, like I said, we'll get into it later on in more episodes, but like hands down, the best experience. It was beautiful. Portugal, Spain. Love that place. I'm Portuguese now. I'm no longer African American. I am African Portuguese. That's what I keep telling myself. So that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you appreciate it.
Even our guests will play this game with us.
Nice.
So
we'll play. It's a little funny vid. Just because we were talking about relationship dynamics. Sorry, I should have pulled up.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll edit some of the stuff out for the most part, but take your time.
But it just was like something very simple, not as deep as yours. I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
So sorry.
Listen, last time I had some guy doing a ping pong ball hitting the wall with his mouth and stuff. So trust me, it's serious and funny over here.
I feel better about that.
It's all good.
This is mine. And then this like the playfulness of like relationships. Cause this is something like I'm into.
Valid. That's valid.
That's hilarious.
Valid.
That's hilarious.
That's valid.
That's hilarious.
That's valid.
But it's like things like that.
Yeah,
I feel like you have to be able to joke with your partner
right.
at all costs. You know? You know, don't hurt feelings, but don't be afraid.
True.
To like jab it in a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was my little. I feel like it was valid.
No,
I'll support my own.
No,
very
thumbs
valid.
up. Thumbs up. That was valid.
I think humor is so important. Like I would just it's so boring like to be serious all the time.
I know.
And like, you know, sometimes you gotta bully them just a little bit.
Bully. Yeah.
Get some roasting in there. You
exactly.
guys a fan of roasting?
All the roasting.
If you get roast, then it's rough.
It's over.
It'll be hard. Yeah, it'll be hard. It'll be hard. You gotta be able to roast each other. Yeah.
I remember I had an ex-partner and she made some like pie or something like that, and I recently like watched Holes and I was like, this ain't Holes.
Yeah.
I ain't eating that.
Oh god.
I was messing with her.
We're like Holes like Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah. I'm done.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Obviously I was gonna eat the pie, but she was so upset that I was messing with her. I was like, this sweet thing.
Great reference too, honestly.
Sorry.
But no, humor is important.
Yes.
But actually, this gets us into our very first topic. Here at Relationship Dynamics, the reprised role of myself and Tommy is like we're really trying to have fun, but also really have you all think more deeply about the importance of relationships, because every day we wake up, we're connecting or we are involving ourselves in a relationship, whether it's romantically, platonically, or just family. And we have one of the biggest discussions on the internet, and that is men and women. It's always a fight. It's always like,
it shouldn't be, but yes. Yeah,
it shouldn't be. It always is.
So we want to expand our horizon, and we just want to shut up and listen, because I feel like that's a good opportunity, because I think a lot of men need to listen to women and listen in the sense of like, how can we be better and what are we missing? So my first question I want to bring up for you, and I'm gonna pull that up, is, and when it comes to like dating, just explain dating as a woman.
A tough task right here. Tough task.
It is, and I'm speaking for myself and people who can relate. I appreciate it. If you can't, oh well, move on. That's it. Because I don't want to fight with anybody about my own opinion.
Bars.
That's about it. Take it or leave it. But I feel like, especially in these days, I'm 31 years old. I've been in relationships. I'm currently single. Dating is difficult because everything.
The laugh with the difficult.
I mean, I'm trying, is to say the least. Only because I feel like, especially at this age, we're all a little jaded. I've all experienced things that make it more difficult for us to open up to someone because we did that already. And then look what happened. And then we did it again. And then look what happened. And so at a certain point, I also think that as women, we should reflect on that for men as well, because they've also been jaded. They've also experienced heartbreak, and they're also having difficulty opening up.
Jeez.
Which is like, it took a long time for me to get there. I mentioned before, you know, I've definitely been the woman that like niggas ain't shit, like, you know, whatever, like, and then, but I feel like when I kept saying that, I was manifesting men who weren't shit.
Right.
Damn.
Like I was almost hocus pocusing myself. So I think also with like this whole, sorry ladies, this whole, he has to pay all my bills and he has to buy all these things and that's really hard in 2024 because things are so expensive.
Right.
I know what my rent is, and if I was a man and my woman is expecting me to pay her full rent, I would love to be in that successful position to be able to do that. But we especially know, living in Portland, Oregon, that ain't it. So I think with the whole transactional, well, if he can't do this for me, I'm not going to do that, which I understand because if you feel like you're wasting your time, you want to feel like you got something out of it. Which I think we should just start taking lessons from these things because those are free. And we're not, you know, making a man feel like he's just being used for what he can do for you. Because that's also like a red flag. It's also, you know, probably something they experience. And I don't think that's attractive to the man that they're looking for. Because then again, if a man thinks that he could pay for something, he's going to expect for you to do something for the payment that he made, you know? You know what I mean? I know. I'm just listening to you. So I think it's just, you know, if you're sitting here looking for a man who's like, let me take care of you, let me do all these things, that's different. Support me through what helps me take care of myself first, and then we could take care of each other. But as far as, you know, dating for specifically me, living in a city that's kind of small, but not really too small, but you still know everyone's business. Hard. You know, men kind of coming at you with too much familiarity. That's something that, it's funny, my friends are going to laugh at this because they know, like, once you come talk to me like you know me, put your hands on me, like, you know, the whole hip thing, excuse me, baby, through a club or something. I'm over it. I'm like, I'm not about it at all. You know, being respectful and showing that you do value me and you want to get to know me, like, versus you see something that is physically, you know, appeasing to you. I also could be the worst person living. You know, I could be the girl that's like, well, I need a Chanel bag if you want to go on a date with me, or I need to go to the Ritz-Carlton rooftop dinner if we want to go on a date. Because I'll go to Cheesecake Factory. I like the chicken Madeira, okay? Specifically, I'll get it every single time. So I think with that being said, I think if we try to not, we understand our jadedness. We understand that we've been hurt. And we go at things with what we are looking for. If you're just looking to have sex, just say that, because there are people for that. There are people for that. Like, there are people who want to have sex with you. Just, you know, tell them and they will do it. But I mean, that's your business. It's not mine. Let's put that out there too. But there's always someone that will match your energy. You just stop trying to push someone into doing something that's normally not their behavior. And also don't pretend like you're somebody else to get them to change that behavior. And that's where the jadedness starts, because I'm sitting here thinking you're cool and you're not, because you just wanted something physical from me versus trying to get to know me from an actual level of having a friendship, first of all, and then building into a relationship and seeing that would benefit both of us for the long term. Because I'm 30. I can't be doing this forever. Right. I ain't 25. 25 be a different conversation. Give me a Chanel bag. Take me out to the Ritz. But 31, I have to build character with people, and I'm kind of done training, or not training men, teaching men, helping men, training.
That's a word right there too. That's good. Yeah.
Kind of training men to do right by me, because I feel like you also have to go through the bullshit before they do right by you. Yeah. So I don't know if I said a lot.
No. Our whole task was just to listen, and I think the proper follow up is, you know, me and Tommy gonna tag team this a little bit, but I heard you saying the jadedness.
That was what I latched onto as well. But I love that. But I would love to hear more about that too. Yeah. But you go ahead, answer.
No, I'll let you do the jadedness. I'll do another one. I heard you also say, understanding 2024. I would say you said a lot of this understanding just where, like, you're at for dating and maybe a lot of your other peers when it comes to women, when it comes to dating, and understanding that things are just different. Yeah. And just being tired of also not being seen for who you are, but what you can give. And how that's just like a lot of consuming. And, you know, I ain't gonna say your age, but you at an age where, you know, shout out to the Play No Games podcast, because you are ready to play no games because you're wanting to find someone that is trying to be more intentional with your time. Is that about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then T, I know.
No, mine, even the whole Jada thing, it wasn't even more so of a question. It was just more so of like agreeing with you. But I want to have you answer the question first, and then we can get into the jadedness, because I think that kind of relates to the way, you know, the question about how men feel as well too. But I want to have, you know, you answer that question of what Rob asked, and then listen some more. Yeah. No, it's all good.
Yeah, so I want to also touch on dating in 2024. Women can vote. We can get mortgages. Most of us. Sorry. But it's like, because it's completely different. And, you know, and I hate saying this too. A lot of people are like, well, my grandpa took care of my grandmother for 50 years. And I'm like, but your grandmother couldn't do all the things that I'm thankfully able to be blessed to do, you know?
That's nice.
Because some people's grandpa also had 2 or 3 families around the city.
Facts. Yikes. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yikes.
I'm sorry. Woo. We all know who you are. But
we need the ether thing in the background.
But it's very true. Like, I shout out to all the grandmothers that persevered. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from that. Let's just say that, because there was still love there.
Right.
But, you know, there might be certain things that I won't put up with, because I have thankfully made a way to have the life that I have. Am I where I exactly want to be? No, but do I know I'm headed there? For sure. And I don't think, if I'm able to afford my life, I don't expect anyone to take that responsibility on if I'm still able to do so.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you for sharing that. Because, you know, to our listeners, once again, we're not monolithic. We're just trying to have a conversation, because we're hoping that this sparks you to have a dialogue with someone else you care about. So, you know, you can invest in having a powerful relationship. So we're going to swing the pendulum. I'm going to speak a little less, but but it's just like the same question for us, where it's kind of like, what's dating like for men? And I think I'll start off by saying, 'cause weekly I see a lot of different clients and people, and just men in general, talking about how they want someone that believes in them. I see that a lot when it comes to men, where men are seeing their contributions not respected or thought of as worthy. And when I mean like worthy, is like, it may not be the money, but like, I'm thinking about doing this, or like, I have this future plan. And no, I'm not talking about for the men who are messing around with your time. I'm talking about the genuine men who want to give you their blood, sweat, and tears. And there's like, that's not enough. So I think dating for men is those type of men is like, they're just like, what else do I need to do? And like, that's what, like, the type of partner they're really looking for, like someone who sees the effort, someone who sees the vision.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, I mean, I guess, again, like you mentioned, I think I can only speak for myself. One, I can definitely relate to the whole jadedness sentiment. But 2, I think when it comes to dating as well, I think when I speak for myself, I think for me, it's like, if it's peace, it's like, I mean, someone said it before, but it's like, you know, men settle when they find peace. And I think a lot of men, and I think at least for me personally, that's where I stand. It's like, I'm not looking for someone to be in a battle with. I'm not looking for someone to be, yes, I like, you know, we can challenge each other and grow with each other here and there. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't care how beautiful somebody looks or whatever. It's like, is there peace with this person? Is there peace with her? And I think for me, from my perspective, that's what I'm looking for when it comes to dating as well. And I think a lot of men probably feel the same thing as well too, because, you know, nowadays, I mean, being a man, being a woman, it's hard, whatever, regardless of who you are, it's hard nowadays, 2024, next year, whenever life is hard, you know, you got mortgages, you got bills, you have rent, whatever it is. It's like we're constantly being pulled left and right. At the end of the day, when you come back to, you know, your significant other, you don't want to come back to somebody who you're going to be at odds with. You don't want to come back to somebody who you're going to be like feeling like you have to compete with them, like you have to constantly fight with them. Like, you want to come back to somebody who you feel at peace with, and you feel like, hey, like, this is someone that I'm choosing to spend my time with and everything. So I think for me personally, as a guy, and I think a lot of guys too, I think they feel the same thing as well, that they will settle where they find peace. And I think sometimes it manifests in different ways, right? I think some guys will, for some guys that are serious, they may be like, okay, like I'm not gonna just go around dating everyone. And other guys can be like, man, like I'm looking for that peace. So I'm going around dating a bunch of different girls because I'm still searching for something to fulfill themselves. You know what I mean? Searching for something to fulfill them. So I think there's both sides of the spectrum. There's one like where it's like, hey, like I'm not gonna do all the dating, and the other one is like I'm gonna waste my time, waste her time, or vice versa, and then keep trying to fill this void or whatever. So it's hard. I'm not judging whoever else it is, but I just think for me myself, it's like, man, I settle where I find peace, and if I don't have peace with whoever that is, then we're not gonna move forward. That's honestly, and like you mentioned, like I mean, 30 years old now. It's like, I mean, I don't have time. The emotional, like the emotional capacity is just not even there for me to try and like lead somebody on. It's just not there. It's just not. I genuinely don't even have the emotional capacity to do that. So it's like, I think, I don't know, guys just have to really realize and be like, hey, like what is it that I'm really looking for? But I think really it is that peace thing. But like I said, I don't want to have my own opinion be broadcasted for every single man. But I think a lot of men feel that way. It's like they settle where they find peace, and they're looking for that peace, which is why sometimes they'll kind of just go around with everyone and stuff. So yeah,
it's different pieces of heaven.
Exactly. Yeah. Just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But man, even just going back to the whole jaded. Now I'm talking too much. But even going back to the whole jaded thing, that one was the one that stuck with me the most because, like you said, like when you get to a point where you're, I don't want to make age a thing. I don't want to make age a thing.
No,
like, but if we're in our 30s and it's that we've dated a little bit, we've had a few relationships here and there, and you're right, like we are jaded, and I feel like it shouldn't be that way. I don't think we should be at a point where we are at this moment in life and we've had different relationships just kind of affect the way that we see people. It shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately it is, and I have to like really resonate with that too, because I don't think I haven't been in like bad relationships. Thankfully, I haven't been in any unhealthy, like toxic relationships. But still, it's like relationships that didn't work out. So it's like, all right, there's still a piece of that it's like, hey, there's jadedness to that and everything. So it's like, all right, like do I want to do this all over again? Like meet someone and get to know each other, and then there's something in the back of your mind like, oh, it may not work out. Yeah. And it's like you don't want to go into a relationship thinking something is not going to work out. So it's like, do you even invest in it from the beginning because you don't want to get hurt? But that's the risk you have to take. Like a friend of mine told me relationships are a mess worth making. I'm like, man, I don't know about that, but you have to take the risk. You have to take the risk, but it has to be whenever you're ready. You can't just do it at any moment. It has to be when you're ready. So
I think when you expect the reward from a risk is when you're probably not going to receive it.
Jeez,
just because you're setting yourself up for an expectation that might not happen at all, or like on your timeline. Or basically you don't give that person a chance to give you that reward because they are on their own time. Whatever they've been through or they're going through currently.
Exactly. And I'm even just like wondering, like, what does that look like when? What does that look like when two people are at that place where they can be like, all right, like, let's do this, or like what just that whole push and pull and give and take and all that kind of stuff. Like, what does that look like for you guys?
I think that's like the bridging the gap where we both resonate with the jadedness. I think that is something that is equally seen from like both sides, and I think that's what we can agree with. Where I think the seriousness has to change of dating, where it's kind of like, you can date around, but it's almost kind of like, I think people date without the thought and intention that a relationship needs direction.
Right.
Like every good long-term relationship has direction.
Yes.
And the direction is, if it's marriage, if it's, if we do in the Jada and Will, like we life partners, it has a direction.
Yeah. I'm not hating, but that ain't it.
I'm so sorry.
Michelle and Brock.
Or it's like it has to have a direction.
Yeah, right.
like I think everyone is in that like loosey goosey like area where I think there's a time and place to, you know, be upfront with where you're at, but like when you're thinking about like really like dating with more hardened intentions, it's okay to do that. And I think it's people think it's very uncool to like.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of uncool. It is because it's scary, you know. And I think it all revolves around. I think there's a pride thing, like ego. Yeah. Because basically you're now having to soften yourself or like be honest about your feelings and give parts of you away. Because if it's like if you're saying I like you and that person doesn't like reciprocate that emotion, which doesn't mean that they don't like you, they're just not ready to.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're kind of like, oh, like you know, heart wrenched. Then you kind of start acting different, or you withdraw because you're feeling like you're not receiving something when in reality you might just not be waiting for it. Because I think it's perfectly okay to express yourself to someone
100%.
And just like throw it out there, hey, like you don't have to do anything with it, but just so you know, this is where I'm at.
Exactly.
But I would also hope that if you're not on that same timeline or same vibe, just let me know, because we'll be friends, you know, obviously we vibe. But I could just go over here with it. You know. Right.
No, agreed. That's healthy, that's mature, Communicate.
Speaking of vibes and communications, this has been a very dope conversation as is, and you know it's time for a healthy commercial break. So we'll be right back.
You have an event coming up? A project that would be elevated by crisp visuals and clear audio. Look no further than the Backseat Critic Productions. Our email is bc.productions.pdx@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram at bc.productions.pdx.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You heard my man. We back. We back. It's the tandem here.
Oh man.
Shout out to the Backseat Critics. Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to RJ. If you need any audio, visual, they're the guys in town. Like I'm trying to tell you, I trust them with my life. So Backseat Productions. So getting back into things, right? I'm curious from like both sides, right? Both sides of everything. Because I feel like this has been like a healthy banter. So why do you guys think there's a disconnection in dating and relationships?
Man, there's a whole, I mean, I think in my opinion there's a lot of there are a lot of answers to that question. I think one, society, media, all that I think media has a lot to do with it, where, you know, entertainment, everything, because we see things on TV and movies, reality TV and all that kind of stuff, and we kind of expect that to be the basis and the standard for what a relationship should be, and like not knowing what it actually takes and what it should be and stuff. So I think that honestly, that's not the main reason, but I think that's a lot of the reason as well. And even too is like not having like good role models. I think sometimes people, I mean, like I said, thankfully I've been blessed that my parents, you know, married, all that kind of stuff. But thankfully, I mean, not everyone has good role models either. Maybe not even your parents, or maybe it can be other friends or whatever it is. Yeah. We don't have people around us, community, who can model what a good relationship is. So that I think that's where that disconnect can come from as well too. So I think a lot of entertainment, a lot of, you know, our surroundings and everything, that has a lot to do with, you know, that, and our own trauma, our own like just hurt that we've been through that has, you know, whether it can be a job hurt that can mess up your relationship. It can, whatever it is, like all those little things that life just throws at you, that messes up your relationship too, because it just affects your ability just to be who you truly are and like trust and whatever it is. So a lot of answers, but I'll just stick with those three. Those three. Those are the first two that came to my mind. But yeah, there are a lot of answers. Answers. But yeah.
I would definitely agree. Social media currently plays a huge role. I think I always think about, I mentioned, you know, like back in the day, like the music that we listened to, like how they would talk about, you know, the woman they love. And you know, like, you know how you grow up and you're like, damn, that song is nasty, like things like that. But it's like sounds romantic. It sounds great. But like nowadays, everything's so like raunchy. And, like,
it's just sexual and just
very much like aggressive almost, you know. And like I'm a person who I will rock to some of those, cause like some of the beats, and I you know, I may know a lot of future lyrics, but
sensational.
But you know, at the same time, I think about the dynamic of like, you know, you're saying the disconnect is, like I touched on, I think honesty, pride, and you know, I think when I'm expecting you not to do something because of social media or my past, and I'm like, or because I'm friends with someone and I see what you post,
right? Yeah,
especially someone posting certain things definitely makes me want to go, because I'm like, is this what time you're really on?
Right? Yeah.
And just, you know, having honest dialogue about what we're truly looking for in any situation. Like, if you're going out and you want to just get some off, you know, just, you know, be honest about that. Is that I mean, I feel like it's happened.
No, but it's
and
honesty
I
and communication. You're right. Honesty and communication.
I also think, you know, we're both like so afraid to hurt the other person or like get hurt by the other person. Let's say that.
Bars. Yeah.
You're kind of like tensed up, like, okay, this feels good, but when am I gonna find out something?
Right.
You know, when's that girlfriend gonna pop up? You know, when are they gonna, you know, when am I gonna catch them in a lie?
Something. Yeah.
You know, because I feel like when you catch them in a small lie, it makes me think, well, what else are you lying about? Because I didn't really care about that. It's also, I'm trying to think. Sorry, having a thinking problem.
Take your time. No rush at all.
I also think like we don't do this. You know, we don't talk.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest disconnect of it all because, like you said, I have posted the whole City Girl lyrics. You know, get some bread, get some head, but like, you know, ask me, are you really about that? I'm like, no, not at all. I'm about going to Cheesecake Factory and getting a chicken dinner. So that's what I'm on.
Yeah. So, question: why do you think you did that? I'm curious. Not to put you like
why would I post stuff? Because sometimes you feel like, you know, sometimes you feel it.
Exactly.
You know?
I know what you
and
mean.
sometimes, and I won't lie. Sometimes I want to be that.
Yeah. Exactly.
I want, you know, maybe you know, I didn't get a text back or someone disappointed me, and I'm like, I just want to be one of those girls.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Get that brand, get that to leave. You know.
Exactly.
I take that as the equivalency of like. You know how like when we like go into our jobs, we got like that, you know, Future song, that 21 Savage. It's just like, and then you log into Zoom, you're like, hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
How can I help you today? And it's just like, you
sorry to bother you, Tone. Have you seen that movie?
You got just like gang, shoot them up. You know, I'm a corporate thug.
No, for sure.
No, 100% get that.
So no, I peeped that, and I think because I actually kind of want to, because you both kind of said exactly what I was thinking. It's just in my opinion, the big disconnection is not talking and then unsaid expectations that could have been done if we talked, because we're afraid of getting hurt. And like, we're going to definitely do a segment on talking about the cycle of hurt and what that looks like. But like that whole, if I spin, and sometimes I hate saying like psychological terms, because I feel like people go to Wikipedia or they have like 2 therapy sessions and they start saying psychological words and like they factually know the definition of it, but like they're like misusing the context of it or weaponizing it, where I feel like a lot of people have anxiety, catastrophize, and they summon or they manifest the worst case scenario for the relationship, rather than when you go out with your girlfriends, it makes me feel like this, rather than being like, going out with your friends again. You're catastrophizing in your head the worst case scenario. You're projecting that this thing's gonna happen, and then you're having your partner leave with, this person doesn't want me to have fun, rather than you say, hey, I feel this certain way when you go out with your friends. That's more the barrier of entry for a person to reassure someone is so easier.
Exactly,
You're right, because I've definitely had a boyfriend who would start little fights before I would go out, because it would almost ruin my night. You know, it would make me not as social, or make me not even, I've stayed home before just simply because my vibe is ruined. But it was probably mostly because of their insecurity about me going out. Which could have been a conversation.
And I want to push you. I want you to be as honest with me as you possibly can, right? If that person was honest with you, like, hey, I'm working on this, you know, taking ownership of what was going on for him, be saying like, when you go out, it makes me feel like that. How do you feel like you would taken that?
I believe I would have taken it well. You know, I would have appreciated, first of all, them saying it in that manner versus being angry and upset about it. I would ask them why they feel that way. Because typically it's like, hey, my last girlfriend went out and, you know, talked to other dudes and stuff, you know? And, you know, just simply asking, would you like to go out with us? You know, do you want to go out together? Or would you prefer I stay home and we have this conversation and I figure it out another night? Because I genuinely would rather have that conversation than the I'm gonna leave angry because now you pissed me off and now I'm just gonna go out. Because then I feel like that would make it even worse on him. Like, she just left mad. Like, I don't want her to go out at all. But I believe I would have taken it well, because I mean, I think I probably would have been defensive, because it's like, why do you think that I'm gonna go out and do something like that? You know, or like, why do you feel like I'm not, you know, what I wouldn't be loyal to you or respect you while I'm out and about. But really going past that, I think I would have probably just ended up having the conversation and staying home and, you know, figuring out how next time this could be possible, you know, or how, like, what parameters. Because one, I don't want to do the whole controlling. There's a like a thin line, you know.
There's a line.
But I also don't want to disrespect how that person feels, and I want them to feel comfortable.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I think I kind of mentioned it last time, but it's understanding that you both are a unit. You're both on the same team. So like, if the guy or the girl, whoever it is, they bring up whatever it is, I think it's understanding that this person is trying to do it from a place of love. So can we look at it from a lens of, okay, what's really going on? But just really understanding that, okay, we're on the same team. If someone is sharing this, hopefully not in a way that's an angry way, then, you know, are they just kind of, are they sharing, are they being vulnerable where they're at? And vice versa, you know what I mean? Vice versa. So it's just understanding you're both a unit. And if somebody brings something up that you may not like, it's realizing, okay, hey, this person is hopefully means well and has my best interest in heart, and is not saying this from a place of they want to mess up my night, or they want to just make me not have a good time and everything like that. So
because if we look at it and take it like a super step back, right? Most people, when you're in relationships, their not initial thought is like, I want to harm this person.
Exactly.
It is like,
hopefully not.
Exactly. It's like, they're grasping at like literal straws of like, how can I reach this person? And we kind of look at our upbringing, and it's almost also, you think of the most extreme way of like, how can I reach that person? And that's why I say catastrophizing. You're thinking of the worst case scenario of like, all right, this person's going to do this thing. So my thing is, I gotta go off for that too. I think it's just like very interesting for our culture. When I was thinking about our culture being able, the power of sitting down to just talk about an issue, because I think it's like a sign of like weakness, and that weakness actually, to be honest with you, gives a strength. Because if I'm telling you something in confidence, where I'm like, all right, your girlfriends make me feel like this, and that's your own insecurity in its own right, right? And then you tell your girlfriends, well, he don't like me hanging out with you because we do this, and this. And then you weaponize against that person. Then do you really need to be around that person? Because you're being open and vulnerable, being like, this is my lagging skill. Like, this is what I suck at. I'm making this generalization and it's not true. But that's like top level 5 like therapy thing.
And just to go off of that too, even like in all this talk with communication and everything, I think sometimes, because at least, and it's just hitting me now, I think because some people, let's say we're in that scenario, I think it's easier for some people to show anger than it is to like show like the deep feelings of love that's there. Because you know what I mean? Like, I think because they don't know how to express themselves properly. Because it's easier for them to like be angry. It's easier for them to hate, you know what I mean? But deep down, 100%. It's like there's love in there, but they don't know how to tap into that. And like they don't know how to like, you know, they don't know how to express it in a loving way. But it's easier for them to get mad. But it's
bro, crazy, bro.
He like couldn't wait.
No, super crazy.
Let's go.
No, you're so. I was such a lover boy growing up. Such a lover girl growing up. I said the Goofy movie taught me how to love a girl. Where I was like, if I don't want to go to a Chris Brown or Usher concert to interrupt the concert and let her know that she the one, she ain't the one. That was like my standard. Like,
great soundtrack, by the way.
Right,
Devin Campbell.
Oh man, that's funny.
Like, that's literally like my mindset, and like the world taught me that if I showed that type of love and affection, I feel like I was a weirdo.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I gotta be cool. Where I'm like, all right, shawty, what you need? You know what I'm saying?
It's easier to be hard. It's easier to be, I get it. Yeah.
Oh no, amongst my friends and loved ones, like I've come to find out the more difficult it is for me to say something, I'm gonna say it. Yeah. But it's gonna come out like, yeah, I like you. Okay, you cool.
Yeah, it's fine. It's chill. You're chill. Yeah.
Like, I want to cook for you. So what? Like, get over it. Like, Yeah. And I'm getting better.
Yeah. No, trust me.
But I'm choosing to say it now versus like, what do you mean you want me to cook for you? I ain't your mama. Like, things like that. Yeah. Whereas like, why did I say that? Because now that's the opposite of how I felt.
Yeah. Right.
And now I look stupid. Yeah. Or combative.
No, and I've been in scenarios like that too, where you have to like allow yourself to like feel like you have to like allow yourself to be vulnerable. Yeah. And I'm not perfect. I'm still trying to get better at that. But it's like you have to like do those things and say those things and sit with it and let it be awkward. Just let it be awkward. Like let it. But that's how you truly feel and stuff. So yeah, that's an interesting fact. Yeah, interesting fact.
Not a question that I have, so I'm gonna nix the next question, and then we'll get into the last question and wrap up. But this whole conversation makes me think about power dynamics in relationship. Jeez. Do y'all think knowing a power dynamics or having a power dynamic in a relationship is a bad thing?
I don't like it. I don't like power. Well, it depends. When you say power dynamic, is it like one person has more power than the other?
Open-ended for a reason.
Oh, okay.
Open-ended for a reason.
I don't think. Well, I'm not gonna talk first. I'll let you guys go first. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Power dynamics.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't want it to be like, hey, I make more, I do more, that situation. But I think you are more powerful if you are more forthcoming in your emotions. I do think that. But I also think you use that power to teach your partner how to feel comfortable with like reciprocating that back, and also, going deeper into just knowing what their love language or how they show love is versus like, not feeling like you're being met with something. Like, I touched on, it's very hard for me to vocalize my emotions, so difficult. So sometimes I'll write a letter, because I think so, bring it back.
Smart. Yeah. Smart.
And recently I've had like an ex say, like, I was asking for all these things from you, but I was actually getting them, but because you weren't vocalizing it. But I reread this letter and you were telling me all the things I wanted to hear, but because I only read that letter once and I was not hearing what I wanted to hear from you, as much as I wanted to, I kind of was just figuring that you didn't feel that way. And so I think a power dynamic is important if that power is wielded to help the relationship and not make it seem like someone's not doing enough or to be divisive or anything like that. Because there's a way that it could be positive, especially with this situation where someone can be more vocal and someone can't, but it's like they pick up my socks off the bathroom floor every day. That's love. Just seeing those things like that. But, sometimes it's like, just say you love me for a second, just say it really quick. You can whisper it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
That to be honest with you, I think that's where I also lean to power dynamics, because we look at the old archaic power dynamic that most men are stronger than women, where it's kind of like, do you need to tote and walk around like I'm stronger than you, like but it's almost kind of like with great power comes great responsibility, where if you make more money in the household, I'll go there, where it's kind of like it's like, how do you say that around the house? Yeah. There's a difference between like, hey, I think you could also carry your weight, but also the weight that you are carrying, I appreciate that. Yeah. Because all the empires people think and they see and things like that, they think it's like, oh, this one person. The empires are built by multiple people putting all those things and all the resources in a pot. That's how you build a kingdom, if I'm being like honest with you, where it's kind of like, if I know that I have more or I have higher emotional intelligence than my partner, it's not like I need to do the work for them, but how can I, help them grow? Because if we're talking about relationships, right? Yeah. It's about us growing together. Right. And that's something that we work on, being like, all right, that's not something you're good at, but we can work on that. Like, I get that. I'm there. Yeah.
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 For sure.
That's a good point. And I'm here after hearing you both talk, because I was going to say, because for me, I see power dynamics, but I'm not a fan of like when it's one person has way more power than the other. I personally think it should be equal. I love having equal partnership, equal responsibility. And obviously some people have different roles. 100%. But, and I get it too, that in different seasons of life, maybe there's going to be somebody who is 80-20, 60-40, whatever it may be. So I think it's just, I guess it's just, it's a weird thing. It's interchangeable, as long as it's with respect and with love. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I think one of you guys mentioned it, where it's like, hey, maybe somebody has more emotional intelligence. That doesn't mean you're going to like abuse that person emotionally for it. You're going to figure out a way to communicate that and bring them in and help them grow and all that kind of stuff too. So like, you may have more of the power there, but you're not abusing it by like being this emotionally manipulative person. You're like helping the person grow and all that kind of stuff too. So I think it's what you do with that. So in a way I'm for it, but in a way more so I like it when we're both equal. We're coming together as two like people, complete people. Let's do this together. But then obviously, yes, here and there are different seasons of life where there's more percentages than everything. So that's the way I see it.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Which allows me to close out the night for us, just asking, because I feel like this conversation has happened multiple times. I feel like there's multiple places where you can take this, because I always want people to leave, our show with being like, how I have a new conversation starter. I'm looking at this from a different angle, different lens. I'm just curious. This is for everyone. When it comes to romance in 2024, 2025, we're at the tail end. Like,
year's about to end. Crazy.
I know. Crazy. What do y'all define as romantic these days?
Jeez.
Ooh.
Man.
Observing what someone is into or what they like and planning, dates according to that. I personally find it romantic to court. Like, I want to court a man, maybe like the Usher
bars. What? Bars? Yeah.
Well, no, it's nice.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes it's kind of funny, and it does come from a funny place. Like, let me hold your door open. Let me open the car door.
Hey.
Let me pull your
guys
chair
like
out.
To be dated too. You know what I mean? Pursuit as well.
I think as much as I like, I love to enjoy dinner, and thanks for taking me out. But let me get this one. Let me plan this one. So I think it's also like changing the dynamics, because like I said, women, we make our bread, we got our things going on. Like, a man can be courted a little bit, don't be mad.
Exactly, I was gonna say, but not all the time. I mean,
don't try to tussle.
Nah, I feel like it shouldn't. At least for me personally, I feel like I love that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think women just shouldn't settle for having to court all the time.
Oh no.
Not all the time.
But 100%, I love it. Like, I think hands down, it's probably one of the best things when it's like the woman shows interest. She is like doing those things that you mentioned. Because guys like that, we love that too. Like, what the heck? I mean, that
because it's like it's boring. Like, I've been the girl waiting for a morning text. Just send it. Just send that good morning text, or what do you want? What are you doing later? Do you want to get? Because that's what I want to do. So I'm not waiting for a man to do it. Like, he could be at work, or just, or he could feel like because he's not hearing from me that I'm not interested. So it's more so just like going, like, girls, go with your emotions and how you feel about a man. If you like someone, please put yourself out there. Please just do it. It kind of it can work out. I feel like every man that I just let courted me into some bullshit. So not every single one. I've had great relationships. I'm not gonna put anyone down or anything like that. Great experiences, great lessons, but at the same time, I feel like I would, if I know what I want and I go for it, I have a better chance of having a successful relationship.
Bars.
Yeah.
My God.
Okay.
That's, I would say for me, I really feel like you were in my notes. That was actually, for me, not courting is studying a partner.
Yeah.
I think people think it's romantic to know your partner's schedule, what they're aiming for, and being like, oh, I can do that. And I'm studying in the sense of like, all right, if I know you have this kind of a day and this kind of day, should I really bring up that thing right now? Like, you just got off work. And I think that comes from studying your partner, where it's kind of like, in the world, so many things are going on. I want you, at least when you come back with me, you can let your hair down. Like, where, like, how can I add some type of peace to your day when the day's been daunting? All right, I know I have this thing I really want to talk to you about. Is it the time or the place? Yeah. I think you only get there when you study your partner, and studying them not for, oh, I have this thing above you. I'm just trying to actually go into life. We're talking about I'm on your team. And if I'm literally on your team, sometimes you got to give the assist to someone that you care about. Like, you know, you're gonna win the games.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is romantic these days. Like, I'm gonna study you in a way of, so you know, you feel like you're taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because you said the word that I wanted to say. I mean, first thing I thought of, and I was just gonna go with my gut instinct, was just care.
Yeah.
Like, just the ability to care. Like, it's so simple. But I just think care is like one of the most romantic things that you can do. It's just like, it's simple, and it looks. There's so many ways that it shows itself. I can't even get into it, but I just want to just say just the ability to care, whether it's just in the simple things or in the big things. I just think the ability to care for your partner is just super romantic, and I think for me, at least generally, that's like what I find romantic, at least in this moment right now, and what I would look for is like, how does someone care? Like, how kind is this? Like, all those different things. It's like, because this is the person I'm going to be with the rest of my life. Like, does she care? Is she kind? All those different, and that to me is like romantic. That to me is, so I would go with those the ability to care.
What does care look like to you then?
Oh, man, I think.
Or feel like.
What's it like I think it's, because man, it's just like showing, I think for me, it's showing genuine interest. I think it's showing like an authenticity of like, hey, like, how's your day going? How can I show up for you? How can I be there for you? How can I even just give you like a nice pat on the back, like physical touch, like just like just not a pat on the back, like, hey buddy, everything's gonna be okay, but just like, you know, like a touch that's like just romantic, but it just shows that you care, like things like that, like physical touch, and even just asking how your day is and everything, knowing that maybe if it's tough time at work, or even just, I don't know, whatever you're going through a hard time, just showing interest in me, like, hey, how's it going? How are you feeling? And even just realizing like, hey, like, you may need something, like doing that thing, and like just caring,
like little things, like you said, study and care. It's
exactly,
like, you know, and you text me, I don't have time to get coffee on the way to work. Well, I'll Uber you a coffee.
Boom. What?
Just things like
bars,
you know,
exactly,
but, you know, things like that. Just
and
like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, you know, I appreciate your condolences for that.
But. exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah, but it's always, at least for me, it's always the little things, just the tiny little things and stuff. Because I mean, I don't need an extravagant, like, you know, I mean, once in a while the big gifts are amazing, 100%. But the little things for me is like what goes a long way, because that just shows that like this person knows me, and then like,
or I got you this because I know that this is what you care for,
and if I know this person knows me, then like I trust them and I feel at peace with them, and that's what I'm looking for, like with, you know, my significant, you know, with my future wife and everything. It's like, that's it. So yeah, and I guess I didn't answer the question too much, but it's just the little things, those little things, those little.
If we like wrap everything up, right? I think all the things, as we're saying, all are similar, but they're different because they're done in different ways.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's important, because everyone thinks, and this is the cheat code I've always done when I was looking for jobs. They were like, what's your greatest strength? Communication. What's your weakness? Communication. It's always something you can be working on, whether it's all the things that we said, because I think individually it has its place. You have to have the care, you have to study, you have to do all the various things to show that, hey, I'm also going to court you because I want you to see that I'm putting in that effort. All those three things is in every foundation of every strong relationship, and it fluctuates. And I think that's something we all can get better at. Yeah. Right. So 100%. I actually think they're beautiful things that it's important to isolate and then to put it all together.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think we need to have these conversations more often. We need to have, you know, both parties, all parties. Literally, we need to have these conversations more often. We need it. That dialogue, healthy, good dialogue. For sure. Yeah.
And that's why we here. And that's why we're doing it, because you know, I definitely think that, you know, this doesn't exist on the internet. I actually really don't. I think everyone's trying to, you know, I'm trying to monetize this to get some money, but also I'm trying to get some money, and I actually care. I think, you know, getting a lot of people who really care about relationships and together in a room, I feel like we can have a new cultural wave. So.
But yeah, the money grab is like pitting us against each other, you know, for sure, because we're arguing and saying these outlandish things, and we're having people on the internet divide against each other as well, and commenting, and then, you know, we're sending it to their friends like, well, how do you feel about this girl saying that? And so I think what you're doing is important because it's like, hey, I'm trying to bring us together.
Yeah.
You know, so send this to somebody who you're interested in so they can get it together.
Exactly.
Sure.
And even a message for all the people. And even for me, I feel like there's a part of messages like there are good people out there.
Yeah.
I think like they're like I know we mentioned jaded again at the beginning. And I'm not perfect. I'm still in a place where I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit jaded and trying to get better. But it's like I understand and know there are good people out there, good women out there, good guys out there for everyone. So it's like, hey, there are good people out there. It's just, and I think if you look long enough, you'll find them.
Yeah, that's important to say.
Yeah, there are good people out there.
Sure.
So keep our heads up.
No, exactly.
Try to keep our heads up.
Well, that
safe.
That was a double entendre on a double entendre. Jada, keep your head up. You know, see what you did there.
Okay. I mean, I didn't
try. Dust yourself off and try again. Like whatever.
Like, oh man.
So if you like what we're doing, like, comment, subscribe. I really love what you said. You know, send this to someone you care about.
Right. True.
Let this be a conversation starter.
Send this one. Send this
positive one. Vibes.
I'm Cartier Rob.
I'm Adriana.
And I'm Tommy the Disciple. Hey.
And this has been Relationship Dynamics.
Peace. See you next time.